Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jamila and this is Jamila Creates, where we create beautiful things. So today I'm taking this fabric. Well, actually, no I'm not. I'm doing that later because it has to be pre-washed. But as far as you're concerned today, I'm taking this fabric. I'm just popping in here to say, no I am not. I actually didn't have enough of that fabric, so I'll be using something else, and the finished polka dotted look will look something like this. I'm making myself a cute little button down, and I'm making my dog a matching bandana. Is that ambitious with this amount of fabric? Yes, there's really not that much fabric there, but it's quilting fabric, so it has more width than regular, so that's good. I'm also going to pre-wash this. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. There's this local sewing store here called So. And they had these offcuts. I only buy offcuts when I go to fabric stores because I feel like that still kind of counts as upcycling sustainability, but it's a little on the edge there. So I try not to stash them too much, but some of these fabrics I just could not help myself. So today we're focusing on this. And hopefully I'll have enough for my button down. I want it to be like a cropped tie situation. So hopefully it'll be enough, but I'm also going to be using a mood pattern that I have right here. I am loving Mood recently and their free patterns. I have their little chart right here, and I'm just going to crop that at a certain point and convert the bottom to button so it's not going to be that tall. Hopefully that saves me on fabric, but yeah, let's get started. So this is the front piece of my pattern, and you can see it has this little collar thing. What that's supposed to be in the fabric is that you fold it back on this line that says fold back, and it matches up to here and it's part of the collar. But I don't want a collar on my design, so not only am I not tracing the collar this time, and I left everything intact at the biggest size so that I can trace it next time. But I'm just going to fold this whole thing down while I trace and keep it out of the way, and then trace in my size. Usually I go up a size for these things, but this is a unisex pattern and, well, gender neutral pattern. This is a gender neutral pattern, and they tend to be a little bit more large and baggy, and I kind of am worried about that, so I'm gonna go with my own size. And when you're tracing patterns, make sure to trace like everything, like the little notches here, 3/8 SA here, the rest is 1/2 inch. The pocket placement is going to be really important, but you've seen me trace things before, so I'm not going to film that again. But yeah, I am using just some parchment paper. Hopefully one sheet will cover it, because tiling this together is kind of a nightmare. And yeah, I'll show y'all when I have the pieces cut out. I might have to get a little creative and do like a tank top moment instead of sleeves, but hopefully it won't come to that. I just noticed that what they meant by quilting is that it's actually smaller, not bigger. So it's a smaller size of fabric by the yard, but I think if I fold this over and stick to my size, it should be okay. Oh, I'm also going to add ties down here somehow when I'm drafting this. I think what I'm going to do is just measure how much I want to crop it up here, or from the hem. Take that and then just continue and widen this line and then turn it into like a little tie moment. Hopefully it'll fit on the fabric. I know I said I'd be back with the pattern pieces cut out, but I wanted to show you what this looked like when I made the adjustments. This, I wish I could guide you on how I did this. I just kind of kept this line going and then looped it in a little bit, and then made a line where I wanted the new hem and just kind of trued it. I forgot to measure how much I'm cropping this by, but I can just put it next to the back pattern and match up the armholes and measure it from there. But yeah, this is what it looked like. Okay, now I'm not going to show you anything else until I have the pieces cut out. So I have the pattern for Jolene's scarf right here. I think it's going to be the last one I do. You can see I have it here, and then the lining is longer. This thing was actually like my 5th choice of fabric. I just had to go back to the drawing board because nothing was fitting my patterns on, which I should have guessed would happen, but this did. It's dead stock from a Millery in Milan. I bought it a few years ago, so that's cool. I do love the shapes here. And I'm definitely going to have to do something when it comes to the button down because this is sheer, so I might want to have some peekaboo moments there with other fabrics and designs, but this is what I have for her scarf. This is the pocket. I ran out of this material, but also I just kind of like the contrast, so I know it says to cut 2. I'm cutting 1. I don't care. And then I'll show y'all unfolded the rest of this later, but yeah, I managed to get it all down, so that's exciting. And I think my next step is to sew everything together. I'm gonna do her scarf last because I have to change the thread on my serger to white. Maybe I can just use the sewing machine in white. I don't know. I'm gonna piece this together and show y'all what I'm doing in the meantime, but I have run out of time for today, so I'll start. So I've come to a couple of decisions since last night. 1, I'm going to start with this. 2, I'm just going to wear a white tank underneath this top because of the see-through parts. I can just layer with that. I really don't want to mess around with like putting things behind it. It could be a cool peekaboo moment, but it just feels like one of those things where I'll be like, yes, I'll do this, and then I never get around to it. Also, I'd have to put like seam lines around, and that doesn't, you lose something from that, you know? So I think I'm just gonna have it as it is and have a cute layering moment. So yeah, I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna do right sides together, matching it up at the bottom. Excuse me, like so. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed because I had a tripod break. Something like that. Then I'm gonna put it the right way and then just fold this like this so that it catches and can go loop around the collar. As for these, what I'm gonna do for these, and I'll show you how to do it when I get to it, so after the dog thing, is I'm gonna do a French seam. I think y'all have seen me do a French seam, but maybe not. It's just you put it wrong sides together, sew with half your seam allowance, and then flip it inside out and sew it again. Well, you trim before and then sew it. I'll show you. So I'm gonna get started on the dog thing, and we'll be back for the French seam. Okay, so I'm going to give this bandana a press just to really get all these corners and edges right and flat. And then I'm gonna fold this over and do a top stitch here. Okay, so now I have to top stitch these edges just around here, and then I will fold this down, and this will fold this way, but double fold, and hopefully I'll get them to meet at the folds so that I'm doing one stitch right across here that seals the whole thing. Giving up on that, I'm just going to top stitch this down and then do this separately because, and try to have it like line up and be the same stitch because it's just more difficult than I think it's worth. Alright, so I'm starting with the back, and you can see that I have this kind of pinned here, and then I'm just going to iron it. This is a little precarious, not going to lie. I am a little worried about these pleats with this kind of fabric, but I chose what I chose, so I'm going to work with that, and maybe like sew over it just in the seam allowance to keep it nice and flat, and then I'll show y'all how to do a French seam, and then I'll do that for the side seams and the shoulders, and I'll get back to y'all when it's time to do other things. Ignoring how imperfect that turned out, but we're pinning it wrong sides together, making sure to get the middle down there and the sides and everything. We're just gonna pin it together, sew it wrong sides together with, this calls for 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to take it 1/4 inch. And then I'll show you. Now that I have it sewn, I'm just snipping the seam allowance in half again, just to cut off the excess. Now I have it ironed right sides together, and I'm going to go ahead and sew that shut, doing the 1/4 seam allowance. Now your French seam is finished, so just iron it towards the back and it'll be done. Alright, so for the neckline and placket, I drafted these 2 pieces by just tracing the back neckline and adding some width, and then tracing the front placket. And I think for stability, I'm going to add a solid white fabric in this, and then the decorative fabric on the inside in this, so that looks like it's self-lined. And, excuse me, that should be good. I'm waiting for the sleeves to dry, because I did add a few more polka dots to give it like an ombre look. So there's that. And as for putting the sleeves in, what you do is you make sure that you have this notch right here where the back is, and once where the front is, and then you just match up the notches on the front and back, and make sure to put the center front, or the center of the sleeve, excuse me, the center of the sleeve to the arm, or front and back shoulder seams, and then you should be good to go. So I'm going to cut these out and then go from there. Right, so I'm out of the matching fabric. That's all right. There's just going to be white here, and so now I'm just going to sew this back strip to these front pieces at the shoulders, and then after that I'm going to put after that, this becomes the right side, the side that doesn't have the seam. So after that, I'm going to sew it right sides together with the rest of the garment along the neckline and down the placket, and then around here, or the hem, just to make sure that these ties are super secure. They're already on grain. The grain line is very important with these ties. I just don't want them to break because it's just the fabric with the mesh. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to fold this over twice once it's sewn in, and then we're going to just hem it like you would normal. I have it right sides together all the way up here and to the back. I haven't pinned the very back yet, but you want to do that as well, and then just run a stitch, and I'm going to start and stop here. The smart thing to do would have been to finish this edge before I start with this, but pinning all of this has been a little bit of a pain, so I think what I'm going to do is stop like here, do that, and then end this stitch. I did make this a lot smaller than this somehow. I think I forgot to add the hem for this. So we're just gonna have to trim it, which, oops, but oh well, these things happen. I'm actually gonna leave it until the very end and not trim it though, because I want to see what happens. Well, I guess I can trim it after I sew it. So yeah, I'm just gonna do all that. But yeah, so now I'm just gonna top stitch around the edges and we'll be ready to move to the sleeve. I don't think I'm gonna film that, just because I don't have a tripod, and yeah, but it's right sides together. Make sure to match up these notches, and I think I'm going to close the sleeve and then sew it in, although that could cause problems. I think I'll sew it in before I close the sleeve. Doing a French seam on the inside of the sleeve was not going to happen, so I just got some of this plain bias tape, and I'm just going to sew it cover stitch style, or not cover stitch, just sew it on top of the seam all the way around, press it, and we'll be ready for the buttons. Okay, so I'm doing the reveal a little bit differently this time. Instead of doing like a modeling montage, because it's with a dog and she's not, you know, capable of modeling too well. She's just a regular poodle. She's not a show dog or anything. I just took some pictures and a little bit of video of just me, but not modeling video, just something in the mirror to show you the shirt a little bit more. And as for the matching girlies thing, we just took pictures and a little bit of video of us together with, it was Labor Day, and so we were spending some time with the family. Also, a little styling note, my client was difficult. Jolene, what do you think of my deadline? Am I being fast enough? So as a result, I didn't get to popping on my poodle-themed matching nails, so I will show them to y'all now. Actually, editing me is wearing the nails. Hello. So we had a lot of fun shooting this and also just on Labor Day. So yeah, I thought I'd pop this cute little video of her in there too. And please like and subscribe, and I'll show you more things that I make, tutorials that I make, and of course, sometimes matching stuff for dogs. Thanks for watching. Bye! And with that, I hope this is enough footage because I'm sick of doing this. We did have a fun time at the park, and here are the buttons. Yep. So, this was fun. Bye!